Today is Thursday, February 20th, 1:05 a.m. I'm on my second week of taking HRT. Nothing really has changed, but I have some really good news in the social transitioning aspect. First off, I officially changed my name to Emily. So I'm really happy about that. I just got it changed by the New York courthouse, and I was really surprised by that. I remember it happened on Tuesday. I was kind of feeling really sad because I thought I did a really good job on an interview, and then I got a message on Tuesday saying that they decided to give the position to someone else. And so that made me really sad because I thought I nailed the job interview. It was my best interview yet, and it kind of really sucked. They basically rejected me. And then that kind of ruined my day. And then at night, I checked my emails and I saw that I got an email from someone working at the courts. I don't know if it was the judge, or I don't know if it's the secretary or the filing people. I have no idea. But I got an email from the courthouse saying congratulations, your name change went through. So I'm really happy about that. I am slightly hesitant to talk about my middle name and my last name. So I'm not going to reveal that. Yeah, I got my full name changed. And so now I'm legally recognized as Emily. That made me really happy. And yeah, I got the email on Tuesday. And then yesterday, on Wednesday, after my therapy session, I went straight over to the courthouse. Not a second thought. Just straight over to the courthouse. I planned it out. And I was so really happy about that. I brought money for my copies. Yeah, and it was really good. I didn't tell my parents yet that my name had gotten legally changed because I was super surprised because I was told to expect to wait 4 months for the name to be changed, but they did it in a month. Literally a month. And I was like, what? So that was huge, surprising good news to me. When I got my papers, the lady at the desk, I asked her okay, now that I have my legal name change recognized by the New York courts, I know I have to change my name with driver's license, passport, social security. What was the other one? There was something else. I'm not going to look into it. But yeah, I had asked her about it, okay, what do I do now? Oh, and birth certificate, driver's license, social security card, and passport. And so I asked the lady behind the booth, and I asked her, I was like, okay, now that I have my name changed, what do I do? Because I've seen videos of trans women getting their passports taken away when they try to file for a gender marker change, or trans women who do have their passports, it's rejected and it's sent back with a huge fat M on it. What do we do? I'm afraid of having it taken away, having it confiscated. What do I do? I don't think she knows exactly what is going on either because it is happening way too fast. She told me that it's best to wait until the summer, just wait a few months and then try to file for a name change with your passport and your social security. And she told me that I'm fine to just go ahead and change my birth certificate and my driver's license because that's in the New York state. But for federal government, that is passport and social security. Those are kind of being confiscated. That is outside of the New York's jurisdiction. And so whatever happens. So she told me that I'm safe to just file it with the DMV and my birth certificate, and I'm fine with that. And to just wait a few months, see what happens. And she told me all these changes are happening way too fast. No one at these governmental offices can keep up, which is why this is happening, because there's no proper steps or training, maybe not training, but procedures put into place. Do we handle name changes? Do we handle gender marker changes or not? Yeah, because Trump has just been taking a marker, signing executive orders, and not really caring how it gets done. He doesn't care at all. He just enjoys having a Sharpie and writing his name on it like it's an autograph. That's what he loves the most. I have the papers over here inside of the folder. Yeah, and I'm really happy about it. I'm looking at the papers right now. Just really happy about it. I didn't tell my parents yet. I was gonna tell them, but my dad got pissed at me that I didn't answer the phone because I was coming home late and I didn't tell him. And he got pissed at me that I didn't answer the phone, even though I didn't get his calls at all, nor did I get his text messages. And he got pissed off at that. And like, I feel like it's entirely his fault because I've came late before numerous times without saying anything, without giving any notice. They're usually fine with it. But just this time, now he gets angry. So it wasn't a good time. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell my brother. I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell my dad. But I do plan on telling them. I did tell one of my aunts, and I had told my therapist about it, and I told my friends about it. And they're all really happy and excited for me. Another thing that I want to talk about is, what was I going to say? Oh, yes. Yes, wait, let me show you. These are hip pads. You like wear them, you know. I'm gonna try to put them on. I'm gonna put it over my clothes because I don't want to change on camera. Okay, I'm wearing it backwards. But I bought these hip pads I think on Sunday or something, and they came in the mail, and they came in the mail on a day that I was feeling super gender dysphoric for the entire day. So my mood was so down. And then when these came in the mail, I felt so happy, and I had tried them on, and like, they don't provide so much like cushion and stuff. They don't provide like super, actually it looks really good on camera. Actually, wait, no, never mind. This is really good. Okay, let's not look at the back. Just look at the front. We can only look at it one way, one direction. Wait, these are actually really good. Well, these came in the mail on a day that I was feeling super gender dysphoric, and when I put these on, I felt so happy. It literally brought up my entire mood for the rest of the night, and it was so good. And I've kind of been wearing these like ever since. I have pictures that I'd like to show. It doesn't do a lot. I don't know why. It kind of just looked really good just then, but it really doesn't do a lot. It just gives it a nice little curve. So this is my sweater, and I kind of pulled it back a little bit. It's a little bit baggy in the front area, so I pulled it back just to show the outline of my waist to my hips while wearing the enhanced hip pads. I don't have a picture of me not wearing the hip pads in this outfit, but this is what it looks like, and it really makes my hips look really nice and round. And I'm also wearing breast forms underneath my sweater. That's why I have like those two bumps by my chest. Yeah, and it gives this nice hourglass figure. That is like one of the really good ones. And then I kind of tried it on with other outfits. I could try it on this outfit. I was too lazy to change my sweater. Tried it on with that outfit, and I tried it on with this outfit. This one is also good. This one's good too. Look at that. I have like a nice hourglass. Like that is so cute. I do feel like the hip pads are a little bit too small. Like I feel like they don't give me a little bit more hip than what I had expected. They're slightly small than what I expected, but that's okay. I could always buy another padding that's a bit bigger, but this also is just like, it's just good enough, you know? It's just good enough where it doesn't look like a huge BBL, where it looks fake and noticeable. This just gives me like a rounder body. And I also wanted to say one more really good thing that happened to me in the last week was that I had decided to meet up with an old friend of mine, and she's trans. We met in Brooklyn College. We have been friends. And then kind of after she graduated, then we just kind of like, we just didn't text each other at all. But when we were in Brooklyn College, we would kind of just like hang out and talk a lot. But we never like met up outside of the college, outside of campus. We never met up just whenever we were on campus and just like talk for hours. And it was always fun talking with her, and she had enjoyed my company as well. We even went on a trip together, not a class trip. It was the end of the semester trip that we went on. We had a lot of fun together, and we mostly hung out together on the trip. And it was just us two trans girls after the trip had ended and she graduated, we didn't text each other or talk at all. And I wanted to be able to like rekindle that relationship, because I do feel like it is now more important, more than ever, for trans people to start building communities or to find spaces where they feel connected with other trans people or just feel accepted. You know, when you're trans and you don't have any friends, or you have very few friends, it gets really tough. Especially right now, with all of these executive orders being pushed to limit trans rights. And so that is very scary, and it's very, very frustrating and very angry. And so it kind of made me feel very isolated and stuff. And so I wanted to focus on self-healing, which is why I wear this necklace a lot. This is a rose quartz necklace, and it's supposed to help promote self-love and healing and love, just basically those things. And I wanted to try to build a community and stuff, and to be friends with other trans people. And I reached out to my trans friend that I hadn't spoken to in like a year or 2 years already at this point. I asked her if she wanted to meet up for like coffee or something, and to see like what has been going on with each other. And then it quickly turned into like I sent her my what days I'm free, and then she kind of responded back with what days she was free. We worked our schedules together to be able to meet up on Saturday night. We had decided to just meet up at night at a bar, and we chose Stonewall. And it was my first time going to a gay bar. Like, I've been to a bar before. I've only been to one bar, but not ever a gay bar, and not ever Stonewall. I had no experience going to Stonewall, but I had just assumed that it was going to be so packed, completely filled to the brim, because it's the most well-known gay bar in Manhattan, and there's so many gay and queer people and LGBTQ people and trans people in New York City. In New York, the 5 boroughs, there's so many. It's a bluest state you can ever imagine. Yeah, so I had to kind of assume that since this is a very popular bar and a very famous bar, and it's in a very blue state with lots of gay people, and then it'd always be packed. That was just my assumption, and so I had never been to there. My friend had suggested it. I'm not going to name drop her, because I'd like to keep names anonymous in this video diary. Yeah, we met up. The thing was, on the day of meeting up for the bar, I spent an hour and a half in my room stressing out and almost on the verge of crying. Internally, I was crying. I was so stressed out because I didn't have an outfit. I couldn't find a good bar outfit. One, it was really cold out, and it had just snowed, and now it was raining, so I didn't know what exactly was a good outfit to stay warm and to be able to show skin or curves or body yada yada, or just serving. I didn't have a good outfit. The only feminine shoes I have are white pumps, which I bought for Halloween costume, and those would get super dirty, and they hurt my feet too. So I just didn't know what to wear, and eventually I did come on an outfit. I didn't take a picture of it, but I basically saw this in my camera roll. All right, fine, this is good enough. It's showing some curves, and I wore my demonias with it, and I even wore the crystal. But yeah, that was pretty much my outfit, and I wore my breast forms. I felt so very sad that I couldn't find a good outfit, and then when I finally found a decent one, I was like, okay, I feel a little bit calmer now. And then we met up at the bar. I arrived there first, and I didn't see her, so then I kind of walked around, and it was pretty much packed. Not super packed, but all the seats were taken. Some people were even standing around talking to each other because all the seats were taken. And so I was kind of walking around the bar area. It was my first time in there, trying to figure out if there's any seats for us to sit down and talk. And also we had planned on seeing a drag show at Stonewall. So I had walked around, didn't see anything. All the seats were taken. Did it a few times. Seats were taken. And then after I was deciding, let me just wait by the front. And then this man started talking to me, and he had complimented my demonias, and I thanked him, and I complimented him. And then we were kind of just talking and just kind of having some small talk here and there, and it was really nice because he made me feel very accepted, and he just kind of made me feel like a woman by being accepting of me, saying my name's Emily and saying about my pronouns and stuff. And just that little tiny thing about feeling like I was being treated like a human being. It was just really nice. Then my friend came and I was really happy to see her, and we were talking a little bit. We didn't have a good place to talk because the speakers were blasting music and we were kind of just standing around unsure of where to be. And then eventually they opened up the upstairs floor because there's 2 floors to this, which I didn't know. And this is when the drag show was going to start. And so we were the first ones up there. When we got our seat, we got a 2-person couch that had a table in front and it had a really good view of the stage. Yeah, and we were kind of just like sitting around and talking. We were talking about like transitioning, HRT, hormones, medical procedures, healthcare, what we've been up to in life since kind of like the last time we've seen each other, and what changes have been going on, what progress has been going on. I've talked about my social transition and how that has been changing, and that I had came out to my parents, and I told them about like their level of support towards me. It's not 100%, but it's like they're like, okay, cool, like not cool, but like, okay, you go by Emily now, okay, but they won't try to be accepting. Like I tell them to call me by my dead name because I feel like whenever they use Emily, whenever they use that name, it just feels like they're using it to weaponize it against me. Like they're always using it in negative sentences or negative times or something negative they have to say, then they say my name as well in it. And it makes me feel sad about that. So I've told them to just dead name me, and I told them to use he, him pronouns. Oddly enough, I feel fine with that because I'd rather not have my preferred name, well, my real name now, not be weaponized against and used against me. Yeah, but we really enjoyed the show. We actually saw, I think her name's Brita. Brita something Brita. Yeah, we saw Brita Filter. She was playing at Stonewall. Look at her amazing outfit. It's so good. We really enjoyed the drag show. We each had 2 drinks. My friend had 2 beers. I had 2 like melon vodkas, or I don't know. I don't remember the drink. But it was really good. I really love my vodka drinks. I'm a girly like that. I went to bartending school, and I know that when you ask for a grandma, that's like vodka and amaretto. And then when you ask for a grandfather, that's scotch and amaretto. And the saying that we learned to memorize this was, mommy likes vodka, daddy likes scotch, or something like that. I'm kind of just associating vodka as being a woman's drink because of that analogy. And it makes me feel very gender euphoric about it because I like my vodka mixology drinks. Those are really good. But yeah, after we had our 2 drinks and we were watching the show, we were just cracking up. My friend had brought $200 in ones, and we both shared just the little $200 in ones, and we were tipping Brita occasionally here and there during the show until we finished all of our ones. And it was my first time at a drag show as well, and so that was really amazing. And I didn't know, because this was a free drag show, you didn't need to pay to enter. Usually people tip the drag person, but it's not necessary, and I didn't know that. And I had came with $30. I kid you not, when I was packing my bag to go, I was like, we're going to a drag show. We're going to a bar as well. $30 seems good enough. For a few drinks? Yeah, good enough. I didn't know that we tipped the drag queen. I didn't know that. So then I was like, oh. So I pulled out like a 10 and a few ones, and I was like, okay, I hope this is good enough. Yeah. I thought that was so funny. We really connected during our time together. And then after Brita's performance was over, she did like a combination of lip syncing, stand-up comedy, and also dancing. It was really funny. She was serving. I don't know, just really good. Yeah, and then after the show, it was open up to the dance floor. And then I wanted to dance with my friend, but she didn't want to. We were both like tipsy / drunk. At this point, it was a little bit hard for us to walk down the steps. We needed to hold on to a railing to walk down the steps. And she also had fallen off her seat at one point because she was a bit tipsy. We were at that stage and she didn't want to dance. And I was like, okay, whatever, I'll just dance. I was drunk. I was in my platform demonias that are like 2.5 inches. And I was just dancing my heart out. Flinging legs, swinging arms, flipping my hair. moving my head from side to side, posing, shaking my boobs, shaking my ass. And then even at one point, I was shaking my boobs, and then one of the breast forms had like slipped out and it fell on the floor. That was really funny to me. It was slightly like embarrassing, but also really funny. And she had complimented me on my dancing, and she said I was really good at dancing and that I know how to move really well, and that just made me so happy because I look up to her because she's a bit older than me, and I look up to her as a bit of a mentor but also as a friend. And then afterwards, then we went to a nearby place for pizza to calm down our drunken state and to get a bit sobered up because Stonewall only serves drinks and not food, so we just needed to go someplace out to rebalance that. Then we talked a little bit more. We talked for like an hour after that. After that, we went on the train together for one stop, and then we went our separate ways. But she did say that she would really love to be able to like meet up again and to hang out, and she enjoyed the night, and I had also really enjoyed the night too. We met up 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 30. I think we were together for like 5 or 6 hours. 5 hours, maybe 4, because we did come a little bit late in the beginning. I think we both left at 12 because I got home close to 1. I got home close to 1 a.m. And we just had a really fun night, and I just wanted to talk about it. And I feel like it is very important to be able to like talk to other trans people. If you're trans, talk to other trans people you know. Try to become friends with them, or maybe try to find some groups. Try to find some sort of connection where you don't feel like you're alone, because I think it is very important to be able to find a connection right now. Feel like you're not alone. You're not the only one going through this. You're not the only one that feels gender dysphoric. Heck, I'm making these video diaries because I felt gender dysphoric and I felt so alone. And I wanted to be able to share my video diaries to other people so they don't feel like they're alone, and so I don't feel like I'm alone. Like, I'd like to be able to build a community here and not have people feel like they're alone and just they're not the only ones. I just think that is so very important right now, and that is why I'm gonna leave this off right now. I basically talked about everything I want to talk about. This is my second week on HRT. No real things. Oh, one thing I did want to mention is that I don't think this was HRT, but I was taking a yoga class, and just my arms were so tired. I had no strength in my arms at all. I don't know if it's the HRT taking it effect, because it is way too early. I don't work out at all. Haven't worked out for maybe 5 years at this point. So it is a bit odd that that's happening. I'm also just kind of like naturally fit. Like, I have abs. I have kind of good biceps. I have nice arms. So I just kind of thought it was a bit odd that all of a sudden I feel really weak when taking a yoga class. My arms can't push me up. And then there was one more thing when I was in the bathroom. I'm not sure if it was cold in my house on this time or if it was the HRT, because when I went to the bathroom, I was wearing this exact t-shirt, or it's the HRT happening, because I was able to see my nipples popping through and kind of like making an indent on my nightgown. And I didn't know why. I didn't feel sensitive over there. It didn't feel sore, just felt like my regular chest. And there was no breast growth or anything, but I saw my nipples popping out, making a little indent. I just felt gender euphoric about that. I was like, oh my gosh, they're growing. It feels like they're growing. Yeah, that's all I want to talk about. And I hope you have a good day or a good night wherever you're watching this. It is Thursday, February 20th, 1:42 a.m. I am signing off. Good night.